Well, who remembers this weapon? First one out, Demolition Derby. Put the link up here. So what happened is I pit maneuvered old mate, spun him around, and then it just started to go barra barra diggity dug dug diggity dug. And then next minute I had DJ run at the back of me, and then I'm trying to start, and then it fired, ran like a bag of doodles, and then it sort of conked out, and then I got it to start again, and then it was running, and then I had the pit crew come around and go, "Are you still going?" And I'm like, yeah. And it just basically drove off the track and then died. We have two separate coil packs, and for one of them to fail, you'd think it would still run on one or the other sort of thing. But what I'm going to try and do is I've robbed the coil packs off our mate Jeff's car. I've robbed the crank angle sensor off of it, and we're just going to throw some parts at it and see what happens. Now, there is ways of testing crank angle sensors and bits and pieces like that, and coil packs. We could probably test the resistance across them, and that might give us some sort of indication as well. So I might disconnect those leads off those coil packs, disconnect those, and we'll measure it and just see if it is a coil pack. Maybe one failed and then the other one gave up the ghost at the same time. Who knows? So I was hoping it's going to be a bit like a Commodore one where you can test the resistance across them and it would give you some sort of reading, but this doesn't seem to be giving me anything, even if I try and earth it going from each side. Same with the ones on the car, so I'm getting the same reading. So I'm gonna say coil packs are okay. The next thing I've done is I've checked for power. We've got power at the coil plugs, so we'll just connect that back up, and I'll show you the problem we've got. So battery's connected, key is on, and guys, I just realised, bloody big fella. And what I've done, I've ran a exciter wire straight to the starter motor so we can turn it over under the bonnet. So the key's on. We've got no go. So if we go a bit of brake clean up its hole, sometimes, well, this will eliminate if we've got a fuel problem or a spark problem. So there's definitely not a fuel problem, but we have got a spark problem. So again, that's why I'm going down this track. I've taken all the leads off, put a spark plug in the end, which we did here, and tested for spark, and I had nothing. So let's just dive straight into that crank angle sensor. Now, there's probably a test we could do off the two wires, but I don't know what it is. But what I've done is I put my multimeter onto this crank angle sensor and put volts through it, just a small amount, and used the crank angle sensor and went past something and it changed. So what we could do, I'll see if I can show you. All right, so I got the sensor. Let's just see what happens when I put it onto some steel. Take it away, put it on the steel, take it away, put it on. So it's, this one here seems to be doing what it needs to be doing. Now we could probably hook that up to that plug and turn it over slowly by hand and see if it does the same thing as well. Let's just change it out and see what happens. Throw parts at it, hopefully win some hearts with it. I gotta laugh because then I went down to Jeff's before and robbed the parts off of that, but he has smashed the front end in that bad, it's shifted the engine across. So I'm able to get my ratchet in there to undo them. On this one, obviously because we didn't hit anything, I've got to put my stumpy on. Cheers, Jeff. Dirty thumbs up. There we go. So we just pull this little cover out the way. There's our crank angle sensor. Let's pull that out. And, oh, what do we got there? Doesn't look like it's been hit or anything. Well, let's pull it out and have a look. So I've got the same test again. That's touching. That's away. The reading seems to be similar, but at the same time larger-ish. 3. Let's try that again on the other one. Maybe I have got my diagnostics wrong. Okay, Jeff's crank angle sensor going on now. Let's see what we got this time. Yeah, similar reading, isn't it? Hold on, that's off, on, off. Yeah. I don't know. Oopsie daisy. Maybe it's not that. But we'll try this one anyway. That's all back together. I'm doubting myself now. Let's just try that. Well, it wasn't the crank angle sensor then. What else is there that could be? Hold on. Let's put that lead back on. Try that again. Alright, that's on. What I've done now is I've changed those coil packs over just to try that. Fingers crossed. Nope. What else could it be? I guess I'll start checking earths. What else stops the Camry from running? They're pretty reliable, aren't they? Except for this one. So I've gone through, cleaned the earths up, that didn't help. Found a blown fuse, which is probably something I should have checked first. Let's just try it now. Doubt it's going to work. I'm glad that didn't work, but at the same time I wish it worked, because it's a 20 amp DCC fuse. I've got no idea. Power now. Oh, we did have a blown fuse. That one there doesn't seem to be anything. That one looks alright. I think that 20 amps only for bloody headlight. That's not going to make any difference. Well, I am going to have to give up. I don't like doing this and I'm going to have to backtrack, but unfortunately I just got no spark. What could it be? I'm going to have to backtrack over my harness that I pulled out and re-put in, and unless there's water in a plug or something like that. I've even tried the engine computer and all that kind of stuff in this. Still nothing. We've got plenty of fuel. I can smell fuel coming up, but just no spark. I even set the spark plug up there just to test it. It'll be something simple. Something, somewhere. Maybe I'll hit up Shane's shed and hit him up for his diagnostics tool. Last night at dinner, I was just going through my head going, what else could this be? What else triggers spark? You idiot. There's a cam angle sensor. I haven't even checked that or tested anything. I've just thrown parts at it. So this morning, I could not wait to get up and get down here. I've gone down to Jeff's car. I've pulled the cam angle sensor out of the cylinder head, which is right at the back. And we're going to throw it into this one and see what happens. Fingers crossed, everybody, fingers crossed. Now, I can't be the only person that lays there thinking of their car. Let me know if you ever have those moments, like you're just like, what else could it be? Come on. Oh, it's got to be something simple. And then you wake up the next day and you're just like, ting, that's what it could be. All right, I'm just really, really hopeful at the moment. That's the old one. Let's connect the battery and see what happens. Reconnect the starter motor. Alright. We've got power, please. Ah! Come on, baby. Yes! Yeah! We're alive! Oh, doesn't sound too happy. Woohoo! Yeah, boy. Right, when's the next derby? Oh, yes, it's alive. Now I've only got 10 months to wait for another derby in Western Australia. Or do we car trail it across over east? I don't think my bar works right for that. But anyway, what can we do to improve it for next time? Got an exhaust manifold leak. Sounds like it's missing. Might check those plugs, or I might throw a set of plugs at it. Anyway, she runs. Yes, 30 thumbs up. Another project out of the bloody way. Yes. So with me derby car back up and going, we'll tackle those little missions a bit later. I've just been sorting out my mate's Land Cruiser. Now you may remember this being parked over in the dirt there, and I was just replacing all the front springs and shock absorbers for him. We ended up scoring some front wheels for it, and well, a new set of wheels for it. Now I'm working on the rear suspension for him, just ripping it out and throwing some standard stuff back into it. Now this is an absolute rust bucket of a car, except we are hoping to sort it out. Well, Robbie is. I'm just helping out with what I can. But I picked up this broken spring, I dead set reckon 5 years ago. And yeah, we just pulled that out. Well, I pulled it out yesterday, and that was a bit of a mission. So that's out. I got these new springs to throw in the back for him. We'll throw them in the back so we can have this rolling and drivable again. Just got to hit him up to get some brake pads, and we'll free up those rear brakes. And that's just another mission that I need to get out of the way. And along with my yard cleanup, I've got 2 derby cars good to go. I'm going to send them off to Piece of Scrap Towing. Those boys have looked after us, so I'm going to look after them, and then hopefully we can get one back or a couple back off them later. So that'll help us out. I got the red Commodore. If you haven't seen that video, we did a shopping list on what we need for it. How tough does it look with bad Q's bloody wheels on it? Thanks, mate. So I've taken the wheels off it. I'm going to strip the tyres. I've got a couple of tail lights for it and a boot garnish. So I'll be able to get stuck into that shortly with a few odd jobs. And I'm going to try and use a heap of free parts off of my mate's Statesman. So I'm hoping we can use the radiator out of this and heater tap and bits and pieces. But we can use this for a bit of a parts car, is what I'm hoping to do. So trying to keep the mission of that red Commodore free as possible, because I don't want to spend too much on it because it's just a stock Commodore. Now to some of the other derby cars, we've got Woodies that still just runs, which I think the rear struts are broken, so all the hubs are broken. So I'm going to look at that one later, another yard cleanup, either get rid of it or set it up for another derby car. We've got Joe's, which is still drivable. I think I need to steal the front strut out of Jeff's car, throw on this one, pull the front end out a bit, and then, oh yeah, the back wheel. I need to make another, what is it called, lower control arm for that. At least that can be used for next time, throw another radiator in it. Then we've got Darren's, which just locked up on him. So it'll be interesting to see why that failed. But we'll sort that out later. They're down the track. So for now, I'm just gonna, so the cleanup part of it is get rid of a couple. And then hopefully, once I get that red car to a point where I'm either waiting for more parts or etc., we can start pulling the engine out of this white wagon. So I've just parked up the Derby car. Whew, she ran sweet-ish. So I'm going to get stuck into this in the next couple of days and just get that rear suspension out and back in and change the pads, lube up the slides, make sure the brakes work, and then Robbie can have it back. So that's another ute or car out of the yard. The VR Calais is going well. I'm kicking goals with this thing, which is a massive thanks to my mate Pete for giving me a bit of kick up the bum. Oh, there's my shopping list for the red Commodore. But what we're going to do, I'm going to go along, clean up the rest of this, give it another prime, and then we can paint that. I actually think we should be able to paint the roof with some pressure packs just to make it look neater for now. Got most of the back sorted. I might just have to clean that up again. Started sanding back some of the bog that I'd done around the rust repairs in the boot. So I actually replaced the bits of steel. We just put a bit of bog there just to clean them up. But check out my repair here. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. So I've just sprayed some rust preventive under there. I sourced another, I don't even know what you call this bit, but I've sourced another one. I just got to go unstitch it from another car. But then we can unspot weld it from here and then take that one off and put the other one on and make it work. We've got a couple of rust repairs to do up in the roof here. One hole, nothing, two holes, and I think there's maybe a pinhole there. So we've got two sort of holes to do. So I'm going to try and get some copper pipe so we can jam that behind there, and then hopefully we can weld those up and plate it and repair those. But that's what we're up to on the Calais at the moment. The seats are off with Dan from Vision Trim, well, Aussie Garage if you know him from there. So he's re-trimming those front seats for us at this moment. We've got the HG Bram, which I'm hoping to get into in the school holidays. So the big fella and I are gonna rattle off what parts we've been collecting, what we've got for the engine and stuff like that. Just, we haven't had time to be able to hang out together because he's working, school and sports, my work, etc, etc, then family time. So hopefully school holidays we can chip away at a couple of jobs for that. But we're going to start releasing those videos in like Christmas time, so that way I've got a bit of a bank of them up for you, so that way you don't get just one for the week and then nothing for 6 weeks later, because I'm pretty bad for that, so I apologize for that. And with that little bit of exposure on rust repairs, I'm going to have a crack at sorting out one or two little jobs on the patrols when I can as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this video of hanging out with me. We kicked a couple of goals. I've got the suspension out of the Land Cruiser. I've got the Derby car running. I've got 2 Derby cars ready to be picked up and get them out of my yard. So it's just a massive mental release when you get just little bits and pieces sorted. I also got rid of that old panel van. If you remember that panel van that Aussie Garage had sitting in my yard that they wanted to make into a promo trailer, well, it's gone. Yes, back to the wreckers. It's just too far gone to try and make into a trailer. Would have been an absolute cool idea. Anyhow, I'm starting to get on a bit of a rant. Might have to crack a cold one. Probably should do that one day. We have beers with Byron down the shed and do a live, I reckon. A bit of a Q&A, hanging out with Bizer on a Sunday, I reckon. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your day. Take it easy and see you when I'm looking at you.